It was difficult to know how to begin this film because arguably the majority of the audience watching it will know nothing about Estonia, not even where it is, nothing about the Estonian people, nothing about the history. And it was a huge struggle to figure out how to open this film. I remember we went through at least three or four or five different, totally different directions to start the film.
Completely edited introductions that we then just discarded. They didn't hold up. We knew we wanted music to be a cornerstone of the introduction to just draw you in and just experience the emotion of that music early on, because it is such the foundation of the story that we're telling.
So, to a certain extent, this first 6 minutes of the film was sort of an Estonia 101 for all those people who know little about it. And if you think about this open, by the end of it, you've seen a map of where Estonia is. You've learned something about the Estonian people, at least that they sing, and that music is a part of their culture. You've learned a little bit about the basics of the history. And to a certain extent, we feel that you watch the first 6 minutes, you now are ready to get into the movie and watch how it progresses from there. Now, that being said, we were clear that the opening had to be an emotional experience and not simply an intellectual experience. So we tried to combine those two elements of, in a sense, giving this history and geography lesson about Estonia at the same time that we're trying to emotionally bring you into this story, because we did not want the film to be simply a history lesson.
And we knew we wanted to end with the Song Festival, the 2004 Song Festival, the modern one that we filmed. And so, a slight filmmaker concern was, do we reveal it at the beginning? We're kind of building up to that. But we just decided it is so compelling and we wanted to draw you in. And basically, the first 6 minutes became just a capsule that draws you in and stands alone.
It does no good to save your best shot for the end if people don't hang around to see it. So we decided to make the opening as strong as we could.
With the Baltic Sea to the west,
So here's our map
Russia to the
that
east,
shows us where Estonia is.
If we were doing a film about France or, or England, you wouldn't need a map.
Place. People here have faced wave after wave of occupiers. Danes, Swedes, Germans, Poles, Russian Tsars, the Soviet Union. All have seen the value of this land.
The opening song is called Ilusmaa, or Beautiful Land. And in addition to feeling that it's a beautiful song that represents Estonian choral singing very well, we also liked the music transition that happens right here.
But Estonia's darkest and bloodiest chapter began in 1939 when the Soviets crossed the border.
It's very powerful. All male singers, it transitions to a minor key, and our editor, Mike Majoros, uses this music transition very well to visually transition to Stalin and Hitler. But while the music itself works for non-Estonian speakers, we were concerned about the lyrics at this point. The land must be filled with children, and filled with children's children, and filled with grandchildren's children. The song, to some extent, is really about affirmation. It's about survival. The cumulative effect of the Soviet years left the Estonian population decimated, and these lyrics are about growing the Estonian nation. So to have such lyrics about filling the land with children, under shots of Hitler and Stalin and murdered bodies, concerned us on the one hand, but on the other hand, we liked the contrast. We showed the work edit to several Estonian focus groups, and the vast majority of Estonians did appreciate this irony. And so we chose to keep it as it is, and in the end we do feel it's quite strong.
There's something very personal about one man shooting one other person, as opposed to a firing squad. That shot always grips me every time I see it. And our editor, Mike Majoris, then cut this shot of the graveyard right after it. Very powerful imagery to get you back to the present time. Now, Maureen and I have been to the Song Festival twice. First in 1999 and again in 2004, and it's quite a powerful experience to see 30,000 people singing on stage. I don't know how to describe it exactly. And actually in 1999, I took my father back to Estonia and to the Song Festival. For the first time, he had been back to see the Song Festival since he left Estonia in the 1920s.
The most striking thing for me at the song festivals is the quality of the singing. I guess when I first went, the thought of 30,000 people on stage, how good could that sound? And it's remarkable how beautiful, how professional the choirs are. It is quite a moving experience, the quality of the singing and the beauty of it. It's so expansive. You're just enveloped in this sea of bodies and sea of song.